This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good evening everyone. This is the final night of Sfira that comes out during the weeknights. And I'm very honored to have the opportunity to share some thoughts with you. I'll tell you the truth, I wasn't sure that I was speaking tonight. I didn't get final confirmation. Not only that, I didn't have the Zoom link. And at 8:57, I called my dear friend David Kestenbaum, because I know he has a daughter here. I said, David, I think I might be speaking in a few minutes. How do I get on? So at 8:59, David texted me the link, but I had to get that text onto the email. And at 8:59 and 30 seconds, I got the text onto the email. And at 8:59 and 45 seconds, I clicked the link. And at 9 o'clock on the button, I was on, ready to give the share. But here's the thing. You see, when you don't prepare in life, and you cut it that close, it doesn't always come out that good. And that's why we always need preparation to maximize an experience. There was actually an individual who conducted an experiment. In short, there is a violin, it's called a Stradivarius. Stradivarius is almost like a magical instrument. It has magical tones. They were produced many hundreds of years ago by a guy Stradivari, and the quality of tone produced by this Stradivarius is magical. One of the greatest violinists, I think his name is Joshua Bell, he could make hundreds of thousands of dollars playing one of those things, and people come from far and wide to hear him. So he conducted the following experiment. He was going to take a Stradivarius and stand in a subway station and randomly play the violin, and he wanted to see whether anyone would actually stop and listen. And amazingly, very few people stopped to even pay attention. Few people threw in a nickel, a dime, a quarter, and so forth. But almost nobody paid attention. And he was wondering, why is it people would spend a few $100s to hear him and come to a stadium, and when they could do it for free, nobody even stops and pays attention. And his conclusion was in part that an experience is only maximized if you prepare yourself for it. So you know, Joshua Bell is playing the violin. Tonight I'm going to go buy tickets, I'm going to put on my suit, I'm going to get dressed up, I'm going to go, and I hineni muchan umezuman to be able to hear the great violinist play a Stradivarius. But if it just hits you, you're walking out of the subway, and you happen to hear these beautiful melodies, if you're not prepared for it, then you might be like the rabbi who got the link 10 seconds before, and it ain't going to come out the way it's supposed to. Because an experience is only maximized if you do hachana. And therefore, what is the most momentous day of the year? The day of the giving of the Torah. There is no event in world history that is greater, that was witnessed by more eyewitnesses than the giving of the Torah. Do you know that no event in the history of the world was seen by more eyes than the giving of the Torah? Even when Obama was inducted, only 1 million people saw it. 3 million Jews stood at Har Sinai, and we heard the resounding voice of Hashem, and that experience is seared onto our souls. You know, in Shir Hashirim, we tell the nations of the world, there's nothing you could offer us to pull us away from the Torah. Even 3,300 years later, that rendezvous, that encounter with HaKadosh Baruch Hu is so seared onto our consciousness. Let me give you an amazing example. When they dropped the atom bomb in Hiroshima, Nagasaki, there's something called atomic shadows, which means like this. If there was a guy in Japan walking by a bridge like this, and the atom bomb fell, the light was so brilliant, his image, his shadow, is seared onto a bridge behind him. So you could go to Hiroshima, Nagasaki today, and see the shadow of a guy who, like 75 years ago, was there by the atom bomb, and the atom bomb's light seared his image onto a wall. The brilliant light of the giving of the Torah was so powerful that experience is programmed into our spiritual DNA. It's on our neshama. However, as powerful as it is, we can only maximize the great day of Shavuos if we prepare for it. And that is why, more than any other day of the year, we have more preparation for Shavuos, because since it's the most important day of the year, it requires the most preparation. And therefore, what a wonderful program you had. where every single night you learned, you had an important thought, a significant message, you took a valuable lesson, because by preparing for Kabbalas HaTorah, you will be able to maximize the experience. So my humble bracha to all of you is Yelchu Mechayel El Chayil. May all of your preparations that you've made for this great day, may you reap great dividends. In the giving of the Torah, you know, that just like when Hashem gave us the Torah on Har Sinai, it cured all the sick, and everyone was blessed by that experience. Rabbi Yashiv says, even today, when we read the Ten Commandments, and read that Aseret Adibros on Shavuos, it's a special Eis Ratzain that Hashem brings refuah, and Hashem brings Yeshuas, and especially if we've prepared for it, this will be a Shavuos like no other. So thank you very much for the opportunity, and look forward to sharing Divrei Torah with you on another occasion. Chag Kosher V'Sameach. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and have a wonderful Yom Tov. Kol Tov.
Kol Tov. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Bye-bye.
So much.
Kol
Thank you. It's now our pleasure to invite our senior, the last one. She's not a senior for long. Elia Cohn, will you please give us your Dvar Torah?
Okay,
Thank you so much, Rabbi Glatstein.
I would like to hear, I have a lot of things pulling. Hatzlacha, Kol Tov.
Thank you, and again, our apologies.
Okay, pleasure. Kol Tov.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.